XRP, Ethereum breaking out, Bitcoin dominance dropping like a rock. There's a lot of great things going on in crypto right now, a lot to cover, but remember, I'm not a financial advisor, not financial advice, yada, yada. Do your own research. And please, if you're not a subscriber, now's the time to hit the subscribe button, like, and share, and let's get into it with no further ado. So look, we have Ethereum. Ethereum this morning had a nice little breakout. This is the 1 day. As you can see right here, I drew a little line here, but we are breaking out of this downward slope. If you look at the 1 hour, it's a little more apparent. And we had a nice breakout. You see this morning we had a nice breakout of about, 4 or 5%? Come up here, it's about 5% breakout in Ethereum. It's popped back above that 3,800 level, seeking to recapture 4,000. There's been so much positive Ethereum news out there lately. You know, if you look at Tom Lee's been everywhere. I've seen this clip 1,000 times. I don't need to show you all again, but he says this is Ethereum's moment. You know, he talks about Ethereum blasting off into $10,000, $15,000 a coin. You know, a lot going on with Ethereum. It's being looked at by Wall Street as the tokenization platform. It's really breaking out right now. You know, so we have Ethereum that's really making a move. Now, we'll get into why in a minute. XRP also making a move this morning. You know, we've got XRP up. Oh, let me see. This is the hourly. No, this is the daily chart. Today alone, we're up 5% also on XRP. Now, we're breaking right above that 786 Fibonacci. It was it dropped down to the 618, bounced off it, bust through, a couple times. Now, if it can hold a candle above that, we could see, in the next week or two with some positive macroeconomic news, we could potentially, maybe even possibly see it. The macros are coming in line. Yesterday, Trump announced a huge partnership, not really a partnership, but Apple announced that they're going to make an extra $100 billion of investment in America to make more parts here. This is the attendant effect of the tariffs, and it's starting to take hold, and people are bringing jobs here. Now, XRP has been a lot going on. For years, I've heard, they're going to drop the case. The settlement's going to be done. It's going to blast off to the moon. And these are things I want, but it hasn't quite happened yet. August 15th, they talk about as being that date that the settlement case, has to come to a head and all these things. We'll see what happens. But right now, XRP has a nice move out of breaking that line. If you spread this out a little bit on the 1 day, you can look at this trend here. And we're starting to break through that ceiling of resistance here of the 786, but also through this trend line, breaking that downward descending trend line. So these are all good signs for XRP. I would love to see XRP to go to $7 to $10 this cycle. People are calling for 20, 30, 100. Amazing. That would be unbelievable. But right now, I'm looking for it to break above this trend line, recapture its all-time high around 365-ish, and potentially go up from there to the 1618 or even the 2618 would be amazing. So look, a lot of potential for XRP, especially if they get that regulatory clarity cloud lifted from them. That would certainly make a big impact. But look at Bitcoin dominance, dropping like a rock. It's down 3.81%. Ethereum dominance, 12.1%, up 2.8%. Others, up 0.99%. So money's flowing into others. Dropping out of Bitcoin, flowing into others. We had this, if you look a little bit deeper here, I messed that up. I don't know how to reset this. Anyway, if you look at the dominance, it is dropping. So we're at we're at 60.6%. We were at a high of 66, 67%. And now that is starting to drop down and it's flowing into Ethereum. It's really starting to look like other cycles. It's flowing into Ethereum and trickling into altcoins. And Ethereum is looking to have its day potentially. We could see a move back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems to be the flight to safety. Kind of like gold is to the stock world, Bitcoin is kind of becoming that flight to safety in the cryptocurrency world. Whereas if things are rocky in the macroeconomic picture, geopolitical, it seems to be they sell into Bitcoin, and that's where they want to store. And I say they, traders, investors, institutions, that they like to save their stay in the crypto world but less risky. So it's still crypto. It's still risky, but not quite as risky as down the chain. So very interesting. Now, this is a big week for economic news, just like every other week. But every piece of news we've gotten so far has come out pretty much positive. The tariffs aren't downward affecting things in a negative way as much as expected by some economists. Jobless claims. We saw a big move on Friday of last week where jobless claims have been overstated, and we've seen this for years. It's been overstated and revised downward. Last year, there was like 80,000, 88,000 a month overstated by jobs in the last couple of years because I just can't say it's politically influenced. But that being said, you're seeing these things revise, which bodes well for the Fed. And we're going to talk about the Fed in a second. It's going to be the last piece we talk about before I depart. But look, U.S. productivity, they thought it was going to be down. So we'll see what it actually comes in at. The forecast is 1.9% up. Jobless claims, it's supposed to be 221,000 jobs today. We'll see where that comes in net. Next week, we do have some major readings of CPI, PPI, producer price index, and core consumer price index. And that's the main, those are some big, not the CPE, but it's the CPI. And those are big indicators of inflation, and those will be market drivers. We'll watch those next week. If they come in lower than expected, prepare to blast off. Okay, so all this being said, the Fed, it's highly predicted right now, 91% chance that the Fed is going to lower the rates at the September meeting, the September 17th meeting by the Fed. 91% chance at this time. Now, that could drastically change with some different outcomes in those big, macroeconomic pictures. So stay tuned, watch what's next, hit the subscribe button, like, share, and we'll see you next time.